Right, so we're in Germany, and my journey to the perfect drive will end here in Germany, because I am going to be taking on Mr. Bernhard Langer in a perfect drive competition. And today we're going to talk about accuracy and what accuracy means for golfers. How important is it in the perfect drive? Obviously I think the knee-jerk reaction is to think it's everything, but I mean I do think it is a big portion of what makes the perfect drive. But let's challenge some of the ideas. Great hole to start. I don't know where I'm hitting it. It's a blind hole. I think it's over this tree, so I need to just trust my instincts and hit an accurate tee shot. A little bit left, but might be okay. Get down there and see how accurate I've been. So I've missed the fairway, so I haven't been the most accurate I could be. A little long, but that is a par and even a birdie chance, and I could have done better. Am I better off being 40 yards away from the green and less accurate, or more accurate and further back? Obviously more accurate and in the fairway wins every time, but there's this big question, this big balance between how important accuracy is over distance, and you know, which one are you going to work on the most? Let's see if we can find out. So let's challenge accuracy. I'm going to hit my driver, and then I'm going to drop a ball 50 yards back of that and put it right in the middle of the fairway, and I'm going to move this, wherever this one ends, up into the rough, and let's see how that affects the way I play the hole. I think that's perfect. So this is a perfectly accurate drive. I got 122 in, so I'm going to move this ball into the rough, and I'm going to move a ball back to have 172 in, so right in the middle of the fairway but 50 yards further back. 172. So 172 accurately in the fairway. So I've gone to my face true vis for this to show you the difference between what in effect is going to be a wedge shot from the 122 yardage. Makes a massive difference. So accuracy is important. And that could be good if it's up. Go. Oh, a little bit short maybe. So 122, but in this I obviously lose an element of control, but I've only got a wedge in my hand. So I'm going to get a bit of launch from the loft, and I do feel I can do a lot with this. I'll get up there and show you, but the wedge looks closer. So this is where the 7-iron finished. It's short and a very long putt up the hill, where this is where the wedge finished. The wedge didn't particularly feel like a massively better shot than the 7-iron, but the results are massively different, and the pressures it's now putting on me trying to hold putts also very different. I think this is an interesting argument, discussion, idea that will go on forever. I think being long and within a wedge distance is a fantastic skill to have, but when it comes to different standards of golfers, I often think it makes a difference to the standard of that player, how much they put on accuracy. So if I just take myself for example, not the longest hitter in the world in the fields I would play in if I chose to compete, accuracy is going to be my weapon, because distance isn't going to be. It's never going to be. And it'll be very interesting to see what Bernhard has to say, being certainly not famous for being short, but certainly not famous for being the world's longest hitter. I personally think accuracy for me, being that slightly shorter hitter, makes a massive difference. I think for your average club golfer, we've all seen them. There's members of clubs who send the ball miles, but they hit the ball so offline. Yes, they have their days, but they're limited compared to your consistent players, just always up the middle and in play. They're not going to win the British Open, but they're going to win monthly medals. One of the other big issues when it comes to accuracy is being able to work your patterns into your shots, because where I aim, where I try and hit my ball during a round might change from hole to hole, subject to how I've hit my shot prior, where the trouble is, where I feel my bad shot is going. So it's being able to adapt as you go, adapt on the fly, and work in your patterns, as in if you're someone who's always cutting the ball and there's trouble up the right, are you skilled at aiming more left and dealing with that? So we've got this fun little lane set up, which we're going to go and show you now, and let's show you how I use my patterns and how I might adapt to try and keep myself as accurate as possible. So I'm going to hit 5 shots and challenge my accuracy on this. 5 balls, 1 lane, how many can I get close to that lane? Let's talk a little bit about how you've got to be able to play with your patterns and be able to adjust on the fly. So thought process for the first one, I'm just going to aim down the middle to slightly to the right of that lane, because I've been drawing it slightly. So I'm already trying to work my pattern in. And that is perfect. That could hit it. If that didn't touch the lane at some point, I got a bad bounce. So I've just sent Matt down there to actually film these coming in, and I realise I've only got 4 balls, so we're going to do 4 drives. So for this shot, I'm going to do very much the same. Aim slightly down the right, hope I get the same result. Why would I change something that's already working for me? Yeah, that one I've pulled. So that one is left, so I'm going to adjust. This next one, I'm going to aim more down the right. No, my pattern with this drive at the moment is slightly left. So I've hit one, I'm going to work that in. That's good, middle to slightly left side, but decent. Not hitting the lane, but it's a good hit. So losing nothing down the right, so I'm going to be confident enough still to aim just down literally right of where Matt is stood and try and turn it back. That is straight at him. Let's get up there, see where they finished. So hitting these drives in this situation, I think the key really is understanding your patterns, your variations, working them in. Obviously you're never going to control accuracy completely. There's going to always be an element of guess and obviously skill and then a bit of bounce. But you would always play the bigger odds. If you're always losing the ball off to the right, you should be aiming up the left or working on some techniques to help you straighten that out. You've got to always play those bigger odds. So this is the first one. It must have been dancing around the lane. Last one here, just up the right, so it was always slightly up that right, but pretty close. Second one, unfortunately I towed it, I didn't strike it as well, and pulled it over in the rubbish. And then another one here. 3 out of 4 would make me happy. What would make me work, what would make me get on that practice area, look at myself on a launch monitor, is the fact that the bad one was so bad. So even though it's 3 out of 4, which is a very good kind of ratio if you like, it's also about how bad the bad one is that would worry me. That's where I would feel I would have to work. Accuracy is an interesting animal. But like I said earlier, for me I have to use it as a skill because I haven't got the distance, and I don't want my bad shots being out of play. I want my bad shots in play. That's where I feel I'm gonna win. I can't wait to talk to Bernhard about this. It'll be very interesting to hear his ideas around the perfect drive when it comes to accuracy.